Welcome to Millennium Daytime Bulletin. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you are watching Millennium News Channel. Today I'm bringing you the latest updates from around the world. Let's begin with today's top headlines. Putin says he's ready for potential talks with Trump during year-end news conference. China threatens to paralyze US aircraft carriers by attacking its radars and sensors, hit them with carrier killers missile. French President Emmanuel Macron lands in Mayotte day after devastating cyclone. Helicopter mass rape trial ends with 51 guilty verdicts and fear justice hasn't been served. Trump and Musk unleash a new kind of chaos on Washington. Minister named in Bangladesh corruption probe. Israeli military strikes Yemen hours after Houthi attack target Israel. Quantum computing stocks plunge while pain reform sky-shots 450%. Tesla and Nvidia hold strong amid market volatility. Michael Vick agrees to become head coach at Norfolk State, his first coaching job in football. Lawson replaces Perez at Red Bull for 2025. Now let's look at the details. Russian President Vladimir Putin put a positive spin on a spate of recent setbacks Thursday, insisting in a marathon news conference that Russia had accomplished its mission in Syria and was winning the war in Ukraine. And he nodded to the sea change expected in Washington, saying he had not spoken to US President-elect Donald Trump in over 4 years, but was ready for potential talks with him amid expectation that new administration in Washington will push for a negotiated end to the war in Ukraine. Thursday event an annual display of Putin's mastery of the minutiae of domestic policy as well as of the geopolitics, consisting of a public question and session combined with a public phone-in. Russia's war on Ukraine was a major topic, with Putin keen to emphasize Russia's recent gain in grinding war of attrition. You asked what we can offer or what I can offer to the newly elected President Trump when we meet, Putin said in response to a question from NBC's Keir Simon. First of all, I don't know what we will meet and when will we meet, because he hasn't said anything about it. I haven't spoken to him at all in 4 years. Of course, I am ready for this at any time and I will be ready for a meet if he wants to. Asked whether Russia's would want to be in a weaker negotiating position because of recent setbacks in the Middle East and on the battlefield in Ukraine, Putin replied, "You said that this conversation will take place in a situation when I am in some weakened state, and you are those people who pay your salaries in the US would very much like Russia to be in a weakened position." Kyiv has said North Korean troops fighting alongside Russian troops they suffered heavy losses. Putin did not mention North Korean troop in his reply to the caller. With flaring tensions between China and the United States, Beijing has launched an earnest effort to bolster its military readiness. After simultaneing strikes and its lethal anti-ship missile and testing hard to intercept hypersonic weapons, Beijing is poised to challenge the US Navy with a new electronic warfare, that is EW strategy. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in June 2024 that a war with China was neither imminent nor unavoidable. However, tensions between the two states have continued to simmer preliminary to China's rising aspirations in the South China Sea. Two superpowers could be headed for a bitter confrontation if China launches an invasion of Taiwan. China considers Taiwan a renegade Chinese province and have voted to seize the self-rule island state of 24 million people and merge it with the Chinese motherland. In recent years, Beijing have conducted several military drills simulating the blockade of Taiwan, rehearsing what appeared to be an all-out invasion and cutting off the island from the external interferences. China understands that aircraft carriers and destroyers would be crucial for the US Navy to puncture the blockade. This has prompted Beijing to develop the test some lethal weapon that could thwart the US Navy coming to island. China has a powerful stockpile of anti-ship missiles, and its strategy to prevent US forces from entering the Western Pacific is centered of these weapons. China's arsenal of anti-ship ballistic missiles, also known as the carrier killer, have grown dramatically, and China's primary anti-ship missiles include the DF-21, DF-26 and YJ-12, YJ-18 and YJ-83. Moreover, it also has YJ-21 hypersonic missiles that have the potential to penetrate air defense and destroy US Navy. Some of these weapons have been issued and simulated strikes on US carriers. The US on its part has excellent machinery to detect incoming hostile targets and shoot them down just in time. It has reportedly been mulling the deployment of combat-proven Patriot interceptors to thwart a potential Chinese missile attack in addition to other air defense assets. French President Emmanuel Macron has met with residents of the Indian Ocean archipelago of Mayotte days after the French overseas territory was hit by a devastating cyclone. At least 31 people have been confirmed dead so far, but local officials fear the complete toll could be much higher, reaching hundreds or even thousands. Upon arriving in Mayotte on Thursday, Macron thanked airport officials who have been helping to facilitate the inflow of aid from La Réunion, another overseas French territory. CN affiliate the BFM-TV reported that he was given a traditional red, black and yellow Mayotte scarf, which he wore over a white shirt. The French leader met with residents of Mayotte alongside its prefect Francois Xavier Beauval. One woman told Macron that the archipelago needs him. Everything is being demolished. We need you. There is nothing in Mayotte. We have young children. We are without water, without electricity, she told the president. Clearly distressed, though he was originally planning on only staying in Mayotte for one day, Macron confirmed on Thursday afternoon that he would be staying in the territory overnight. Macron also announced that the country will establish a compensation fund for those who are uninsured and said that he will rebuild Mayotte with the new criteria, told the Millennium News sources. Many parts of Mayotte remain inaccessible after the cyclone Chido, the worst to hit the territory of just over 3 lakh in least 90 years. Struck last weekend, the powerful storm flattened neighborhoods, knocked out electrical grids, crushed hospitals and schools, and damaged the airport control tower. Mayotte lies in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Africa, just west of Madagascar, made up of 2 main islands, inland area in about twice the size of Washington, D.C. A horrifying months-long mass rape and drugging trial concluded in France Thursday, with Dominique Pellicot and 50 others men all found guilty of the rape or sexual assault for the former wife Giselle Pellicot. Dominique Pellicot, 72 years old, who solicited dozens of strangers to rape Giselle Pellicot while she was unconscious, received the maximum sentence of 20 years for the aggravated rape. 48 other men on trial were found guilty of aggravated rape, with 2 guilty of sexual assault. The trial, which was shocked France and has pushed the country to examine a culture struggling with pervasive misogyny and systematic sexual assaults, has galvanized women to demand a change in the way it approaches gender-based violence. They were able to do so because of the unusual decision Pellicourt took in waiving her anonymity to make the trial public, an act many have called heroic. For months, Giselle Pellicourt faced her abusers in court, allowed the world to see the horrors that she'd endured by her husband and dozens of other rapists for over a decade. Under French law, Giselle Pellicourt could have asked for a trial to be kept behind closed doors, but instead she asked for it to be held in public, saying she hoped that it would help other women speak up and show other victims of sexual assaults and rape that they have nothing to be ashamed of. Speaking after the verdict were handed down outside the courtroom in Avignon, southern France, Giselle Pellicourt underscored her solidarity with other sexual assault survivors. The trial has concluded, but its outcome has left many angry with disillusioned hearts, and including the children of Dominique and Giselle Pellicourt. They say such sentences fails to acknowledge the gravity of the rapist crimes and underscores France's substandard approach to tackling sexual violence. Welcome to the new Washington of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the president-elect and the world's richest man, combined Wednesday to smash a short-term spending compromise orchestrated by the Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson to keep the government open until the early in Trump's new term. The stopgap measure is packed and nearly $100 billion in aid for Americans hit by multiple national disasters, economic aid for farmers, a federal commitment to rebuild Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge, and a criminalization of revenge porn. But the Trump-Musk blocking maneuver plunged the Capitol into one of its classic year-end crises, pitched Johnson's hopes of keeping his job into extreme doubt, and offered a preview of the chaos that may churn in Trump's second term. A sense of turmoil was exacerbated by the 10th straight day of losses on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, matching a mark set in the Ford administration. The sell-offs underlined a volatile national moment of some of the economic challenges Trump may face after the Federal Reserve warned that inflation will tick up next year. The sabotaging of Johnson's funding initiative triggered shock and confusion on Capitol Hill, but many of Trump's supporters and boosters in the conservative media were anticipating massive cuts to federal programs and the mayhem in the point. If the impress leads to a damaging government shutdown, that may represent progress for the some, since the government itself is viewed with disdain on the populist right. And by taking him at the Washington status quo even before he takes the oath of office, Trump is doing exactly what he said he'd do on the campaign trail. But the sudden imbroglio also highlighted one of the key issues facing Trump in his second term. If he wants to pass his tax cuts, push through his immigration overhauls, defend the country, and leave a meaningful legacy, he will have to find some way to govern, even if that draws him to conflict with the base voters and MAGA ideologues who seem happy to burn government to the ground. Johnson was meeting a small group of GOP lawmakers of Thursday morning, and he tries to figure a way out of his own and his party's self-inflicted impasse. But some of Trump's top supporters were embracing Musk's previous call to shut down the government entirely until new president's inauguration on January 20. On X, Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia wrote, "I'm all in," and warned the Republican should stand firm to support the madness, even if it is meant electing new leadership. Tennessee Republican Tim Burchett wrote on X, "Shut it down," and Republican Nancy Mace of South Carolina said on the Musk-owned social network that it is no plan. Arrest the January 20, let reset January 20th plan and see what goes further. A Labour minister has been named in an investigation into claims her family embezzled up to 3.9 billion from the infrastructure projects in Bangladesh. Tulip Siddiq, 42 years old, who has been the Treasury Economic Secretary, is responsible for tackling corruption in UK financial market, is alleged to have brokered a deal with Russia in 2013 that overinflated the price of a new nuclear power plant in Bangladesh. The allegation is part of a wider investigation by Bangladesh Anti-Corruption Commission, that is ACC, into Sadiq's aunt Shakina Hayes, and who also deposed as Prime Minister of the country in August. A source close to Siddiq said she were trumped up charges, with the source also saying that the allegations were completely politically motivated and designed to damage her aunt. Conservative Shadow Home Office Minister Matt Vickers said the fact Labour's anti-corruption minister is reportedly embroiled in a corruption case is the latest stain on Keir Starmer's judgment. It is high time she come clean. The British public deserve a government that is focused on their priority, not distracted by yet another scandal. The Bangladeshi judiciary independence has long been questioned. Government changes often bring judicial reshuffles, with ruling parties regularly accused of targeting political opponents. Court documents seen by the BBC show Hajjaj has accused Siddiq of mediating and coordinating meetings for the Bangladeshi officials with the Russian government to build the 10 billion rope per power plant project. It is claimed that the deal inflated the price of the plant by 1 billion, according to the documents, 30% of which was allegedly distributed to Sadiq and his family members and via a complex network of bank and overseas companies. In total, Hajjaj alleges 3.9 billion was siphoned out of the project by Hasina's family and minister. Israel's military launched a deadly strike on Houthis' target in Yemen early Thursday, just hours after the Iran-backed militant group latest attack on Israel. 9 people were killed and 3 others injured in Israeli airstrikes on a port and oil facility near the capital Sana'a, said Nasrullah, deputy head of the Houthi media office, in a post on X earlier. Houthi-run Al Masira TV said the Israeli strike targeted the Hiyaz and Dhaban power stations near the capital and the Hodia port and Ras Isa oil facility. Israel's military said the airstrikes were retaliation for the Houthi missile and drone attack on Israel over the past year, most of which were intercepted. Israel's long hand will reach you, as well as the Israeli Defense Minister Israeli Katz said in a warning to Houthi leaders following the strikes. Whoever raised a hand against the state of Israel, his hand will be cut off. Whoever harms us will be harmed sevenfold. Tensions between Israel and the Houthis have escalated for months as Israel wages its war on Hamas in Gaza following the Palestinian militant group October 7 attacks, with the world leader warning of the potential for a wider Middle East conflict. Earlier Thursday, sirens were heard in the central Israel after the Israeli military intercepted a missile launched from Yemen. The Israeli IDF, that is the Israel Defense Forces, said a school was damaged and no injuries were reported. The IDF said that the Houthis later claimed they had achieved their goal in the twin missile attack on the Israeli military targets in the Tel Aviv area. The Houthis have attacked Israel, its allies, and the vital Red Sea shipping lines in rejection of Israel's military campaign in Gaza that was killed with more than 45,000 Palestinians. The group, which control Yemen's most populous region, say won't stop striking Israel and its allies until a ceasefire is reached in Palestinian enclaves. In July, the Houthis claimed responsibility for a deadly drone attack in Tel Aviv, Israel's commercial center, the first such strike on the city by the group. Today's hot stock highlights some dramatic moves in the market, with quantum computing and AI-focused companies taking center stage. Rigetti Computing Inc., the RGTI leads the loser, plunging 24.79% to close at $8.04 despite a high trading volume of 88 million shares. The stock remains within its 52-week range of $0.66 to $12, suggesting some resilience but intense volatility. Quantum Computing Inc., QZBT, has also been significant hit, declining 37.34% to $16. It's worth noting that the stock is near its midpoint of the 52-week range. Pain Reform Limited shines as the standout performer of the day, skyrocketing by the astounding 456% to $12. The massive spike on a volume of 59 million shares suggests either breakthrough news on speculative trading. Nvidia Corporation (NVDA), a heavyweight in the AI and GPUs, rose modestly by 1.98% to $131, staying comfortably within its broader 52-week range, $57 to $152. It's a stable name amidst the volatility in the AI stock. Other notable movers include Micron Technology (MU), down 17.61% to $85, showing significant weaknesses. Tesla TSLA gaining 1.18% to $445, keeping up its impressive run in the top of the 52 weeks range. Quantum computing stock seems to be dominating the losers, while biotech and AI-related names are both creating headlines. Traders should tread carefully as volatility dominates today's market movements. We'll be right back after a short break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi. Keep watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin. Four-time NFL Pro Bowl quarterback Michael Vick has announced that he will be the next head coach of Norfolk State. The 44-year-old, a Newport News native, made the announcement on his Facebook page on Tuesday. It's an honor to announce that I'll be the new head coach of the Norfolk State University. Looking forward to coming back home. Since retiring from the NFL, Vick has never officially held any coaching position. In April 2018, he announced that he would be offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Legends in the Alliance of American Football, that is AAF, a new professional league. However, the team announced in February 2019 that he would not serve in that position, and the league folded 2 months later during the inaugural session. Vick played 13 seasons in the NFL and helped revolutionize the quarterback position with his dual threat ability. He is statistically the greatest rushing QB of all times and 6,109 career yards on the ground, the most of any player at this position. Though current Baltimore Ravens signal caller Lamar Jackson is only 108 yards behind. New Zealanders Liam Lawson also raced for Red Bull alongside world champion Max Verstappen in the 2025 following the team's decision to ditch Sergio Perez. The announcement that Lawson was moving up the second team Racing Bulls came a day after the Red Bull and Perez announced that they had agreed a termination deal following a weak season by the Mexican. The 22-year-old moves into the Formula One front line after just 11 Grand Prix third 2 seasons, although Lawson has not convincingly beaten teammates Yuki Tsunoda over the period. Red Bull preferred him to be the Japanese Red Bull team principal. Christian Horner also said Liam's performance over the course of the 2 stints with the Racing Bulls have demonstrated that he is not only capable of delivering strong results, but that he also is a real racer, not afraid to mix it with the best and come out on top. Lawson becomes the 4th team mate to Verstappen since Australian Daniel Ricciardo chose to leave Red Bull at the end of 2018. Perez followed Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon in being dropped for failing to convince Red Bull their performances were an acceptable level for a second driver. Horner said there's no doubt that racing alongside Max, a 4-time champion and undoubtedly one of the greatest drivers even since in the F1, is a daunting task, but I'm sure Liam can rise to the challenge and deliver some outstanding results for us next year. Lawson made his F1 debut at the 2023 Dutch Grand Prix as the substitute for Ricciardo, who broke his hand in a crash in practice at Zandvoort. He scored a point for 10th place in only his 3rd Grand Prix in Singapore before Ricciardo returned for the final 4 races of the season. Ricciardo has originally been put in the car to establish his credentials to the return to Red Bull alongside Verstappen, but he was dropped and replaced by Lawson after this year's Singapore Grand Prix. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us for more updates. Log in to stay updated with the latest news on our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA for Android and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News 24.